Welcome to another edition of Mark and Dave's Lifting the Lid. I'm Mark.
I'm Dave.
And I have to say, it's not very often at Elite Audio Towers we have a celebrity in our midst. And to be perfectly honest, the Aqua Formula xHD is, in my opinion, a true celebrity of the DAC world. There are a lot of reviews out there already, and I'm sure some of you may already be familiar with these reviews. But a review is only one person's opinion, and ultimately it comes down to the individual, perhaps most importantly, the individual that is parting company with their hard-earned money to own such a device. And I have to say that universally, the feedback that we have had from clients that have bought this amazing audio device has just been incredible. So we're going to take you through, Dave and I, the DAC, tell you about it. Dave will go into some detail shortly about what's in here, what makes it sound so good. But let's just start initially, let's just talk about Aqua as a DAC concept. What is it, in your opinion, makes Aqua, for want of a better expression, probably the best DAC manufacturer in the world right now?
I think it's Christian's unwavering commitment to the R2R ladder design, and the fact that he spends a lot of time championing that design. In the past he has used chips on some DACs, but he was always moving towards having the DACs in his range as being R2R. The reason is he feels and he knows, in his heart and soul, that is the best way for him to build a musical, organic sounding DAC. And at the heart, Aqua is Christian and his ability and his passion for the product.
There's no doubt that there is a true passion in the range, and there's three models in the range effectively, starting with the Lavoce Series 3, which has only recently been launched. We've got the La Scala Optologic Mark II, which interestingly has a valve output stage, but also in its recent update gained a lot of the technology that we saw in the original formula. Yeah. This is now onto the xHD model, and this is of course the flagship in the range. And without sort of taking anything away from this, there is also, I believe, a new model planned to sit above the formula. Is that not true?
I think it's something that is in the pipeline. When we'll see it, we're not entirely sure, but Christian doesn't rest on his laurels, and in fact the fact that he doesn't shouldn't give anybody any concerns, because it helps twofold. One, it pushes the technology on, and the other thing is that he always builds modularity into his DACs.
That actually is a really interesting and key point you've raised, because one thing that you'll find if you own an existing Formula DAC, it's very easy to upgrade to xHD. If you own La Scala non-optologic, it's very easy again to have that updated and so on. So the modularity aspect, I think, considering this is digital technology, makes it extremely appealing. And I think the other aspect of Aqua DACs I find absolutely incredible. If you look at, and I'm sure, and I'd ask you guys that are watching this to go ahead and do this, get onto YouTube or even just browse through some of the photographs from some of the recent high-end audio shows, and inside the rooms of other manufacturers, you will find sat there an Aqua DAC. And the reason that you'll find it sat there is quite simply that those manufacturers wish to display their products in the best way that is possible. And what better way to have what I consider to be the best digital front end currently at any price than an Aqua DAC. And Dave, you own an Aqua DAC?
The La Scala Optologic. The sound from these machines is incredible. They take a bit of running in, all of them. Whether you believe in that or not, I think there is a difference in the tonal signature from a box fresh machine through to one that's
there's no doubt. I mean, burning, and I'm sure this might stimulate a debate here and some comments, but burning is definitely a real process. And I think one of the best examples to sort of highlight why burning is important, if we send anything off for review, the reviewers almost without exception insist upon having a burnt in unit because they themselves know that it won't do the unit justice, or them doing the review doing it justice, unless of course the unit has been burnt in. And again, coming back to the DAC and just, the fact that other manufacturers will use the Formula or other Aqua DACs as part of their display, it's no surprise because, we were listening before we started this video. This DAC was actually on our main showroom demonstration rack, and we were streaming some music from the new Lindemann Lime Tree bridge into the Aqua, and the organic element of the sound was phenomenal. The three-dimensional aspect of the soundstage is it literally, we sit here and we listen to music every day in here, but you just do not want to tear yourself off this couch. You just literally don't. Yeah. And I know any excuse to listen to music, but when you hear it on the Aqua DACs, they're just phenomenal.
Yeah, broadly speaking, when you get to a certain point in monetary terms of hi-fi, I like to see it as you have products that are, and this is a generalisation, it's not set in stone, but yeah, you get hi-fi products and you get hi-fi products that make music products, and there are DACs out there, naming no names, that firmly for me sit in the hi-fi product catalogue, and they occupy that sphere, and those are the products that you can bring your friends round and there's, wow, the drummer is 3 feet back from the bassist, and the guitarist is 2 feet to the right of the bassist, and it goes on, and it's that, and I've heard that, and I've never heard this before, but ultimately what clients is they find themselves listening to the hi-fi.
Yeah.
You sit down with an Aqua product, all that detail is still there, but the way it's presented musically to you, it's a group of musicians playing music, and that's what's more important.
And I think it also, if you think about DAC technology, different manufacturers take a very different approach to DAC technology. Some like the upsampling route, others like to have a whole array of digital filters. Aqua's got none of these, no upsampling, no digital filters. It is really, in my opinion, the purest approach and probably the best design philosophy of any DAC manufacturer.
Yeah, it handles various file formats, and Grant will kindly put up on the screen, along with the technical data, all the actual file formats it will handle. It won't do MQA. It's very pointedly, Christian shied away from
and that. Actually, it's an interesting point, and I think the fact you brought up MQA, again, we're going slightly off topic here, but some people almost have an obsession about having an MQA equipped DAC. And ultimately, for me personally, and if the best sound is your ultimate goal, whether it's MQA or not MQA in some respects is irrelevant, because you could have an MQA DAC, and there's some very inexpensive DACs will do MQA. If you compare it to any of the Aqua DACs, MQA it's a non-issue at that point, because the sound is staggering, for want of a better expression. So what we'll do now is we're going to have a close-up of the DAC. Dave's going to talk you around the varying components that make up this wonderful piece of equipment, and we'll then come back into the main showroom and we'll have a quick summary about where we've got to.
Sure. So this is the Aqua Formula DAC, and I just want to highlight first of all the build quality. So the front plate here is of very high quality aluminium. The toggle switches, I just love these. I think it's a real nice touch. You don't see it on a lot of kit, and it's just really well put together. You can see here the sample rate indicators, and depending on sample rate it will light up the appropriate indicator. The other thing to note is the Nextel case. So this case work is actually made of a certain material, it's called Nextel, and it's designed to stop vibration and ringing and things like that wouldn't ordinarily be audible, but to the audio signal it could be detrimental. So inside this unit, so basically Aqua's philosophy and Christian's vision is that the most musical digital to analog converter that you can have is a resistor ladder or an R2R ladder DAC. The market at the moment and traditionally has been saturated by what you call sigma delta converters. Cheap to produce, can be integrated onto silicon, produced low cost, basically a DAC chip. So this is different. Now, what it does, it's sign magnitude topology, and it works on resistor banks. So run you through the actual inside of the unit. Down this side you've got the mains coming in, fuse here, you've got the transformers. On this side here is all the pre-digital side. You see a bank of caps here. The caps in these units are of very high quality. Bob and I, our in-house tech, were chatting about capacitors the other day, and one of the highest quality you can have is tantalum. Now pronunciation might not be right, apologies if it isn't, but those are very high quality, very expensive. The resistors, metal film resistors, again very high quality, expensive again. Up here you've got the USB board, so it's an XMOS USB chip and system, so that allows the connection to Mac and Intel based machines with no problem. You don't have to start downloading drivers, it all comes pre-installed and it's plug and play. This side here is where all the digital to analog conversion is. Now the digital section is completely separate, both from the actual analog side, so it's galvanically and magnetically separated down. Again, that takes time, thought and a degree of expense. So these are the four boards. The reason you have four, you have obviously left and right channel, and you have two half of the sine wave. Now the reason that the analog section, digital section is galvanically and magnetically separated, it gives the highest total contrast and naturalness. And the clock itself is galvanically and magnetically isolated as well. On the rear of the unit, spin it round, you can see here analogs out, you've got balanced out as well, a USB in, you've got a couple of SP diffs, ASEBU, and then you've got your mains in as well. So there's a number of connections here. Whatever product you're using, there'll be a way to connect it up to the Formula DAC. So that's a very brief, hopefully not too technical, it isn't too technical, overview of the unit. If you've got any more sort of pertinent, real technical questions, email them in. I'll do my best to answer it in lay terms, as that's the way I like to work. I try and make things simple. If I can't answer the question, then I'll email Christian and he'll answer it for us.
So, as you can see, this is no ordinary DAC by any stretch, and it's also very easy to understand why at just under £12,000 it's expensive, but when you compare to what else you can buy, it is great value for money. And there's probably some people sat watching this shaking their heads saying, how could you possibly justify that amount of money for a DAC? Well, everything's relative, and when you put something in your audio system that gets you as close to the recording as it's possible to get, those moments when you're sat there and you feel that you're literally part of that performance, the value of that, it's so good for the soul. It's such a feel-good experience. Why would you not want to experience that? So, it sounds crazy justifying that amount of price, but it's not really, because it does something truly remarkable.
Absolutely.
So another lifting the lid comes to a close from myself and Dave. We hope you've enjoyed this particular episode. As always, we'd like to invite ideas from you of things you'd like to see. We have had some ideas coming through already, which we're going to film in the coming weeks. This is such a regular thing for us now, the lifting the lid. We hope you enjoy these videos. We want you to at least get part of what we do on a day-to-day basis and understand where our passion for our products comes from. We truly are blessed with so many good components. I'm not sure how we're going to manage to have all these lifting the lids in the future, Probably we'll need to cancel holidays. That sort of the 12-week cruise you've got planned, Dave. I think you might need to shelve that. I know you've got your name down for the Richard Branson trip to the moon. Maybe we could shoot one on there, or you could, I don't know, you could.
Not on the amount you pay me.
Yeah, I know, but we could do a budget one. What we could
Budget.
do, we could. I've got a guy lives local, does those air balloon things, for businesses where they take up in the sky and they drag the thing.
Are you going to inflate it with all your hot air?
That's actually quite funny. I quite like that. Maybe we can. Maybe a little sideline of hot air balloons. Anyway,
Honestly,
another episode comes to a close. If you wish to have more information about any of the Aqua DACs, as usual, Grant will put up the contact information so you can get in touch. If you want to talk to us on the telephone about DAC requirements or any part of your system, even if you're not buying anything, we love to give people guidance. That advice is completely free of charge. Pick up the phone anytime, drop us an email. We love to hear from you. Thanks again for watching, and it's goodbye from me.
bye from me.
And we'll speak to you soon. I think that balloon thing's got mileage, No, I think it does. Actually, what we could do is we could inflate the balloon, put a DAC. I'm sure we can find some way. We could ask Christian to give us like a balloon hook, make it like an option, the balloon hook option, and that could go up in the air. We could put another one in, like have a Dave hook, so you could be up in there beside the DAC, and just sort of, a much higher perspective. It would focus your attention purely on the DAC itself. Yeah, I don't know, might work.
It's easy to tell you're off your medication.
I think it's that taking it in the first place. Maybe I need some medication.
Celebrity DACs.
It's a celebrity DAC. That is a celebrity DAC, no question. Right.